The world's best distance runner has a problem. So I think that there's probably no disputing Jakob Ingebrigtsen is the top distance runner in the world right now. It's actually unbeatable over the 5K in just setting an astonishing 3K world record in 7:17, topping one of the hardest to beat marks in history. However, I think there's one thing the world's best distance runner is getting a bit tired of seeing, and that's a runner going around him in the final stretch of a 1,500-meter race. On a rainy day in Zurich, one of the premier 1,500-meter races of the year that featured an Olympic rematch between the big boys, Ingebrigtsen, Kerr, Hawker, and the Goose, it would be another story of Jakob Ingebrigtsen leading much of the race and getting beaten. Now, for some perspective, Jakob did say a week ago he was under the weather and not going to be 100% for this one.
Looks a bit rough at the press conference yesterday.
Yes,
a bit bleary-eyed.
but still looked myself in the mirror today. Looked like
And when the race started, I think it was kind of apparent Jakob did not really go right behind the pacemakers and go for an aggressive pace, for rather he kind of remained more unattached and wasn't able to benefit as much from drafting off pacemakers. Meanwhile, Yared Nuguse stayed right behind Ingebrigtsen, and it looked like he benefited the most from the formation as he let Jakob do the work in setting a pace that wasn't blazing fast, but fast enough for Nuguse, a more strength-based runner who has a great finish, but not quite as explosive as the likes of Kerr or Hawker. And that allowed him to hit the bell and put distance on both. It was a bit disappointing to see that Kerr and Hawker detached from the caravan here, but I gotta say I kind of like Ingebrigtsen's chances more than the Goose's when they hit the bell. However, the Goose proved me wrong in this one as he held right onto Ingebrigtsen, who didn't seem to have that usual smooth acceleration down the stretch that he has in these races. And instead of pulling away from the Goose, it would be Nuguse who would be able to swing wide of Jakob and take this one. Again, Jakob watched someone go down around him in the home stretch of the race. This time it wasn't Kerr, it wasn't Hawker, the two more explosive kickers in the field, but rather it was Yared Nuguse, who has a great running style from an aesthetic perspective and is able to stay strong with the faster paces. You got to feel for Ingebrigtsen, even if he isn't 100%. It's extremely hard for a runner who loves the 1,500 to lose a lot in the event. Of course, Ingebrigtsen came back for a win against Hawker in Lausanne, but when the trio of contenders showed up, there always seems to be at least one that gets him, whether it be Kerr or Hawker or this time the Goose. I also got to mention a great run from Mios Laras, who was able to overtake Josh Kerr in this one. Unfortunately, Kerr won't be running the Diamond League final, instead choosing to race the Fifth Avenue Mile. So this will be the only rematch we get to see. For Hawker, it does seem he slipped since his Olympic gold, but it's understandable given it was unexpectedly a life-changing moment for him. Overall, though, this was a race where the Goose was loose, and Ingebrigtsen still has to remember there's a lot of opponents that can run with him now over the 1,500 meters, and if he isn't 100% on the day, even in pace Diamond League races where he's usually at his strongest, he's vulnerable to someone going by in a final stretch of the race. If you enjoy athletics coverage, be sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.